to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Hey, 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 and welcome to All In. Good evening, Ed. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks, John. How are you?
Good. Yeah.
Fuck, it's Friday is all I can say.
Yeah, I had a little nap. Before the show.
Yeah, I managed to get a small little one in this afternoon, like half an hour in between.
Everything's
bits of shit. It was just,
everything's shut. Everything's shut here.
Oh, it's not shut down here. I just had idiots to deal with.
Oh, everything's shut. Everything. I went out of town. There's 3 shops open. The pet shop, the off license, and the fucking bakers. That's it. That's all that was open.
What the hell is wrong with this country? Seriously?
Spaz.
I mean, it's a bit of fucking winter weather, okay? Heavy winds, but nothing heavier than that. I've certainly not down here. I mean, yeah, okay, you showed me a video of a roof coming off. But
yeah, but roofs come off.
Shit happens every year. Okay, so it's a bit more of a severe winter storm. But, I mean, to start shutting everything down and closing schools and all of this nonsense, we just turned into a pussy fight. I mean, if you look at the wartime generation, there was the Blitz going on and people were still going about their, like, keep calm and carry on kind of thing. Now we've got some
still got your freaking milk delivered during the Blitz.
Yeah. Absolutely, people. I mean, you see, there's pictures of Londoners walking around like bombed out, and they're all look pristine. They're better dressed than most people each day.
Well, certainly better dressed than me.
Yeah. and it's like you see them pictures of them all huddled in the down in the tube, making tea and singing songs to each other, and like looking after each other.
Yeah.
And now it's pathetic. It's absolutely the government because. The government and the media want everybody to be afraid because it makes them easier to control. And therefore, they're not taught resilience or adaptability or preparation.
So my wife goes to me, Morrison's and Tesco's are shut. And I'm going, what? said, because she said yesterday, I'd been to the shop yesterday to get a bottle of wine from a show, for the rabbit hole, and I got her a bottle of Prosecco because it was Thursday and she'd finished our course at college. So I goes, how am I going to get drink for tonight's show? So I thought, sod it, I'm going up the town. So I went up the town and I thought, I'll go to Iceland, because Iceland is quickly becoming my favourite shop. It has no self-service tills, so it's always got people serving you, and they seem reasonable priced and whatever. So anyway, I thought I'll pop into Iceland. As I got there, the people are still in it, but they've all got their coats on, and there's a sign on the door saying closed due to weather. I'm thinking, what the actual? So anyway, the off license, as I said, was open, so I got some in there. Anyway, I came back, and strangely enough, the off license wasn't much more expensive than Morrison's. And when I say not much more, it was like pennies, not pounds. The differences. But anyway, to come back to it, I phoned the wife and I told her, and she goes, yeah. There were people on Facebook, right, who'd just been to Iceland complaining that it was open. They'd just been there, got their shopping, came back, and then posted on Facebook that it was shocking that this shop was still open. They'd been there.
It's like that. I saw you reply to someone posted a thing, this mentalist in Ireland diving into the freaking rough sea, and this person goes, this should be illegal. If you're doing something like that, you're putting yourself in danger, and you're putting all the emergency services in danger, and you should be arrested or some nonsense.
Yeah, huge fines.
Just like, fuck off. Why not just go and like wrap yourself in bubble wrap, go and sit in the bath or something, and just wait for everything to stop and just leave everybody the fuck alone.
Cower in fear.
Well, this is one of the things.
That's exactly what happened, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because look what happened on Facebook. They've called for a climate lockdown.
Well, we all knew that was coming.
Yeah, of course we did. We warned about it. Yeah.
Ever since the Rona, we always knew that was coming. But it was one of the things that I think COVID did to the world that I personally find the most disgusting and pathetic and heinous and wrong is that they've just turned everyone into these pussified, frightened little freaking children that run indoors at the first sign of a little bit of bad weather, and can't deal with anyone disagreeing with them, so they have to be cancelled or murdered or whatever. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, as and the thing that gets
to drive a person to drink anyway. Cheers.
cheers. So the thing that gets me though is that it's like what am I trying to say? I've fucking lost it again. I've got to stop this. I've got to stop.
Pussified version of the planet. It's something to do with being on air. I get it. I get the same thing. It's like if you need to go to the loo, my head can be buzzing with ideas, and suddenly if I'm sitting here staring into this camera, my whole brain just goes blank, and it's just like there's literally nothing in there. I might as well just be meditating, trying to clear my mind.
Well, that doesn't normally affect me, but I was actually going to say something, and I completely forgot what I was going to say. And it was to do with the stupidity of people, and calling for lockdowns and nanny states and all that kind of nonsense. It's just everything's it's back. We're back to the mouse utopia, aren't we? If everything's provided for you and you don't have any challenges, you're just going to stagnate, and as a civilization, will fall apart.
Now they're actively taking the challenges away.
Yeah.
Now you're actually a criminal if you want to engage in any challenges, like diving into a rough sea.
Yeah.
Or I mean, look, ultimately, it's dangerous. But if that's what you want to do and you're prepared to take the risk, then go for it.
Yeah, I mean, take responsibility for your own actions. If you want to do that and you get into difficulty and we find you 3 or 4 days later in a semi-bloated condition, you know what?
Fault.
It's called FAFO, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just, and I think damage society by not allowing the risk takers.
Yeah.
It's something that it's like some of the greatest human achievements have been achieved by people doing the most recklessly. I mean, if you actually stand and look at what they did, and you think, you fucking nutter. And if we had this kind of, I don't know, the sensible police running around stopping everyone from doing anything even remotely dangerous or interesting or exciting, and we all just have to sit at home singing Kumbaya, watching the fucking BBC.
Well, you're back to Demolition Man type behaviour, aren't you? You know, you have been fined 3 credit. You have been fined 1 credit for swearing.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for them to bring in the seashells.
Yeah, still don't know how they work.
Given the way that all of this nonsense works, they'll literally be the worst way to wipe your ass ever. I bet. Literally, I bet the whole 3 seashells thing is just disgusting, and you get poo all over your hands.
Oh yeah, okay, right, okay, okay. This is going on right. Right, let's get into the let's join in the slides. So, guess who's back? Well, so this was ridiculous, wasn't it? You know, this is John McAfee's account. It's not been hacked. I'm back, and you're thinking, no, John, you're dead. You didn't fake your own death, because it happened in a prison, didn't it? You know, he didn't. It's not as if he just disappeared. He actually died in a prison in a foreign country. You know, like Central America somewhere, wasn't it?
Although they're still, I mean, as there always is with the rabbit hole side of the internet, there's always people out there who are convinced that John McAfee is still alive somewhere. I mean, personally speaking, I think it's pretty, from what I've seen, it's pretty clear that he did pass away, and it's his wife Janice who seems to have connected his Twitter account with some sort of AI McAfee.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that is what we appear to have. So I'm back with, what's it called? AI antivirus, an AI version of myself. You didn't think I would miss this cycle, did you? And it's pretty sad, isn't it? You know, they're just trying to.
Yeah. It's kind of. I don't know. I was half thinking that maybe they're trying to just make money off the account.
Yeah.
Maybe Janice needs to pay her bills, and this seems like a good idea of monetizing the account. And I mean, because it's got millions of followers, and to be honest, there's people out there who, even if it's AI McAfee, will still lap this shit up like it's manna from heaven. So, I mean, to be honest, fair play to her. Actually, if you thinking, well, my husband's died, so I've got to make some money. And he's got a really big Twitter account, and he's like really this popular thing. And then someone came to her with this idea of an AI McAfee. I don't know.
Maybe we'll come back to this later in a completely unrelated manner. But let's move on, shall we? Yeah, are we? I mean, what?
Just
nobody's actually using McAfee, are you? It's one of the worst antivirus programs out there. It cripples your PC. It's just shocking.
But it was good when he was still running it, but he was forced out of his own company.
Yeah, and it's just a shocking piece of equipment now. Right, so this is on your wheelhouse, Ed. The South African president has signed a controversial land seizure law which allows him to take the land off white farmers and not pay any compensation to them. So basically, they can just the government can now steal your land. What do you think of that? Is this Zimbabwe all over again?
Well, it certainly has echoes of it. And if you look at the effect that it had on Zimbabwe, in economic terms, and also, I mean, Zimbabwe, when I was a kid growing up in Zambia, Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of Africa. I mean, we used to go down to Siavonga, which was on Zambia's southern border with Zimbabwe on Lake Kariba, and there was the town on the Zimbabwean side is called Kariba, and there was this like magical shop there. It was just like a supermarket, But I mean, when you're a little kid in Zambia, it's like in Zambia we couldn't get. It's like chocolate was a rarity. All of these things that kids these days would just take for normal, going into a shop and buying chocolate and stuff. Couldn't do that in Zambia.
Yeah.
And so we'd go over to Zimbabwe, and it would just be like, oh my God, and parents would be buying shampoo and all this kind of. That's what it was like. And then it just went downhill and downhill and downhill. And Zimbabwe went from being a net exporter of grain to a net importer. And I mean, fundamentally, yeah, okay, white people came and they settled the land, and potentially one could think about some sort of redistribution, but redistributing land to cronies who know nothing about farming and just let the land go fallow and do nothing with it. What's the bloody point in that?
Exactly. We used to love going to the NAFI store when we were in Hong Kong, because you got all the British stuff that you couldn't get in the regular shops. But anyway,
South Africa, yeah, it's the thing about South Africa is that unfortunately, because of the years of resentment over apartheid, and because of unfortunately the government that's come in since apartheid ended, the successive South African governments have unfortunately just demonstrated the same sort of corruption that's happened in most other African countries, where you have an elite that just enriches itself. And I mean, I don't give a shit what the color of the skin is. It doesn't matter whether they're white, black, yellow, red, whatever. It's the fact that you have one group of people enriching themselves at the expense of everybody else, and then ruining the economy and needing a scapegoat. So they scapegoat the easy target, which in Zimbabwe and South Africa is white farmers. And I mean, some of those farmers are brutal. It's like what's actually being done to these people is barbaric. It's not. I mean, it's not okay at all. And unfortunately, with this new law, it's probably just going to get worse, because it just empowers them, and you just end up with loads of poor white people instead of poor black people. But then, because of the way the South African government is, you have poor white people and poor black people, and you just have this small clique of people at the top who have ridiculous amounts of money. And South Africa goes from being one of the most highly developed, comfortable, kind of modern places in Africa to being just another backward shithole. And all of the people who can leave will leave. And you'll just end up with this, like, banana republic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because, I mean, South Africa's, I mean, they had the best, pretty much, certainly in Southern Africa, some of the best infrastructure. And it's just, and I mean, it's exactly what happened with Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe's infrastructure was really good when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then when I went out to visit my dad, I actually flew via Harare, and you could just see the deterioration. And it's just, I don't get it.
No, I know. Anyway, right, let's move on, because we've got a fair amount of slides to get through. So we've got this is a post from the Average Chris, who's quite good. He's in the intelligence circle in the States. He works in the intelligence agency, but he doesn't really tell people what he does, which is quite sensible, right? And he has a very skeptical view on the UFO problem. Now, this guy is the new whistleblower. This is Jake Barber. Now, see his eyes. He never blinks. This guy's unreal. He doesn't blink. That's why I said earlier I think he's a replicant. Oh, did you see that? Did you see that whole thread? I says I think he's a replicant, and this person comes on and goes, replicants aren't real. And I just replied saying that's exactly what a replicant would say, right? And then they went, this is ridiculous, and blocked me, right? And I thought, hold on a minute, that's ridiculous. So I had a quick look at what they were saying, and one of the posts that they'd retweeted and obviously hadn't commented negatively about was that George Washington was a plebeian.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, he was a star-seeded plebeian and had high-level meetings with the plebeians. And I'm like, What I said was ridiculous. Holy Toledo, Batman.
I like a good rabbit hole, but there is such a thing as too much crazy.
So anyway, Jacob.
He's a very creepy looking guy, I have to say.
Jacob Barber here, right? Who purported to be special ops combat controller, highly cleared, and a contractor after he'd served, looking after, doing crash retrievals and all that. Turns out to be an aircraft mechanic. That's what he was. In the US Air Force, he was an aircraft mechanic. He wasn't a combat controller. He wasn't in the Special Forces. He had no real security clearance above being an aircraft mechanic. So there you go. I mean, the credibility of these people is in the freaking toilet.
Yeah, it really is. It's just, I don't know. It feels like there's something going on because they're all coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, because the grift is strong.
Mm.
I mean,
and people are prepared to latch onto anything at the moment because the world is so crazy, and so many people's brains are fried by like jabs and media and fear and the government and everything else. That too.
Trump derangement syndrome.
Putin derangement syndrome. Musk derangement syndrome.
Right. Anyway, let's
move on before
let's move on. So, I thought this was a cracker. I thought this was an absolute cracker. Good Morning Britain says, breaking news, unemployment has unexpectedly risen. Oh,
unexpected about it. That's just a word that they use to make it sound like, oh, look, it's all just going on. Fucking idiots.
Official figures from the Office for National Statistics show the rate of unemployment has increased to 4.4% in the 3 months to November. Why would it be unexpected? I mean, look what has occurred, right? Employer taxes have gone up. Employer national insurance contributions have gone up. Why did you think that wouldn't affect unemployment? Because many small businesses have actually gone out of business because of it, and many big businesses are cutting back staff. I mean, even Sainsbury's, is cutting back staff. The Labour government aren't in the business of running businesses, are they? They don't want businesses. They want the control of the means of production. So unexpectedly, nothing was unexpected about it.
As always happens with socialist idiots, boy meets world. Or in this case, Rachel meets the economy. I mean, the simple fact is that if you impose too many taxes, then the people who have the ability to leave, the rich ones who create loads of income and pay loads of taxes, are all going to bugger off.
And that clown Dale Vince, what's he called? Right, Dale Vince.
The walking, talking midlife crisis.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on with that guy? I mean, he's about the same age as me, and he dresses like a 12-year-old.
A 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, I don't want to specify gender at this point. But anyway,
I think it's important to note, because if he was dressing like a 12-year-old boy, that actually wouldn't be so bad compared to the way he does dress.
Speaking of dress like a 12-year-old boy, did you see the state Fenterman went to the inauguration in a hoodie and shorts? I mean, that's just out of order. If you can't dress yourself because I've seen him wearing a suit, so he knows what a suit is. He's not like Zelensky. I don't think I've ever seen Zelensky in a suit since he stopped being a comedian, right? But Fenterman, I've seen him in a suit, so he can wear a suit, and he turns up in a hoodie and a pair of baggy shorts. That's just ridiculous. But anyway,
the thing is, it's because he's such an idiot, frankly, that he thinks he's being really insulting towards Trump by not turning up in a suit, and he's actually just making himself look like a plonker.
Exactly. So anyway, I was going on about Dale Vince. So Dale thinks it's a great idea to have a wealth tax for the wealthy, and I have pointed this out on a number of occasions to Dale. I think he just ignores me, to be fair. But I pointed out that every European country, apart from, I think, Spain and Norway, that have ever implemented a wealth tax have had to rescind it because it ends up costing them more money than they thought they were going to save. So they lose money every time they implement a wealth tax. No point, because people just move.
Exactly.
And if you've got that much money, it's not just you that moves. It's your companies. It's your jobs. It's part of of the previous country's economy that moves. It's stupidity. It's just gross stupidity. And speaking about gross stupidity, I'm going to move on to the next subject. Right now, this is a sensitive subject, and I'm not going to delve into it in any great depth. I'm concentrating more on the things around it that are being fed to us, right? Which is like, why and no pun intended here, but why are the knives out for Amazon?
Distraction.
Yeah,
because this case, as I keep seeing people like this evening, it was Alison Pearson, and what's his name? That MP that used to be an MP is not an MP anymore, and was can't remember his name. Andrew something or other.
Oh, Bridgen. Yeah.
And various other people, and Richard Tice, leader of Reform, have all said that there's a massive scandal underlying this whole thing relating to this little monster's family.
Well, there is.
Rwanda and Tony Blair. And I mean, I don't necessarily want to start.
No, I don't know.
Find it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a distraction because they have to keep, they can't have the attention on their own failings. They have to blame someone.
So I asked because they've made they've tightened up the rules for people under 18 that want to buy knives, or people that want to buy knives on online shopping now need 2 forms of ID apparently. Right?
He already needed one form of ID, and he managed to circumvent that because they delivered it to his family.
Yeah, but this is the part I don't get, right? So, and I asked the Prime Minister this, and he's yet to reply. Okay, so the question is, Mr. Starmer, and I'm asking you again, right? You've known about this. You knew where he got that knife since this occurred in June. Was it June?
Yeah, something like that.
June, July, something like that. July or August, whatever. But you've known about it since then, and you've done nothing about curbing knife buying until now. So you've, according to your thinking, you have unduly exposed the British public to harm for the last 6 months. Because you're now taking action to curb something that you've known about for 6 months. So why did you expose the British public to harm?
And we're on the subject of exposing the British public to harm. Russia, hello. Why is he still trying to start World War III with Russia?
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we've got Trump, and I think Trump doesn't want a war on his watch, and I think Trump will hopefully massage the situation into the fact that Zelensky will be forced to concede.
Well, given the stuff that Trump has been saying on a foreign policy level, so far, I think he's making, unless he's playing some sort of weird 5D chess where, because he did that with North Korea during his first term. He made all sorts of bellicose statements and
he did
called Kim Jong Un Rocket Man and everything else. And then he turns up and he has a meeting with him and they get on and it was all looking like there was going to be a rapprochement until John Bolton bollocksed it all up. The same John Bolton who's now had his security detail and his security clearance and everything else and taken away from him, which is fun.
See the amount of people that have lost their security clearance. It's a scream, and Fauci's lost his protection detail as well, apparently.
Yep.
Why did he even have one?
Limo.
Why did he have one?
Well, because he's one of the most hated little troglodytes in world history.
Yeah, but he saved everyone, didn't he? Isn't he the saviour of the land? You know, people should be bowing down and throwing rose petals wherever he walks.
My left bum cheek has saved me.
Right, okay. I'm going to move on to the next slide, right? Which still keeps going on this theme.
I love this one.
Are the criminals to blame for the stabbings? No, the knives. No, that's not right, Keith. Keith, knives don't kill people. People kill people. That's the problem here. And, you know, it doesn't matter what you do. It's like you ban handguns in the UK, which have been banned now for what? 30 years? No, 20, 25 years? Handguns have been banned for about 25 years, right? And yet, people are still shot every year. But the problem now is it's only criminals that have firearms.
Yeah.
You know, handguns. You've got the criminals that run about in gangs, and you've got the other bunch of criminals that wear blue suits and call themselves the police. So only the criminals have guns.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ridiculous. And it is. It's just, it's classic misdirection. It's classic arse covering. And he's just clueless, literally. I don't even know why he wanted to be prime minister, because he's rubbish at it.
So now we're into the segment where we're going to make fun of Great Britain, Trump, and Americans, right? Because so Keith isn't he's going to refuse to refer to the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, right? Doesn't matter, Keith. It was not named for you. It wasn't named to. It doesn't matter what you call it, because nobody's interested. The whole reason it's called the Gulf of America is that Biden banned all the drilling in the Gulf of Mexico, which no longer applies because the Gulf of Mexico, as far as America is concerned, doesn't exist anymore.
So they can drill, baby, drill.
Thank you, drill, baby, drill. Don't even need to rescind those orders.
What's more amusing is all of the memes that Americans are now posting about the different things that they want to rename the British Isles to.
Well, now we have, yeah, some of them are good, but now we have an American comes onto the scene and goes, how about we call it the French Channel, right? And I'm thinking, why are Americans so ignorant? So fucking ignorant of the rest of the world, right? And yet still have the confidence to go in there and propose things when the thing's already got a French name, isn't it? It's called La Manche. So why do you need to call it the French Channel? You're losing it, people.
The same reason that they had to rename French fries to freedom fries when the French refused to join in the totally illegal and heinous invasion of Iraq in 2003.
Yeah,
and they basically became the cheese-eating surrender monkeys. And it wasn't the whole of America, but it was the Capitol building. The restaurants in the Capitol building still serve freedom fries, not French fries.
Yeah. So here's a good one, because I should have put this up, but I don't have it. But there was a slide up today, and it showed you what animals people thought they could take in a fight. Right? And it had British people and American people, and for every animal, right, the Americans had a higher success rate. The Americans thought they would have a higher success rate than the British people, right? So let's say 30% of people thought they could take on a goose. And I think they've got this wrong here, but because geese are highly, highly underestimated as attack devices. You really got to be careful with geese. They're vicious. I mean, that's why people use them as guards. In fact, the what's it called? The whiskey bond across the river has got guard geese here. It does. Oh, geese are mental. But anyway, so the Americans think they can take all these different animals, and quite high up on the list is chimpanzee. And people are like 12, 15% of British people think they can they could take on and beat a chimpanzee in a fight. And Americans, it's like 25%. And I'm like, you have no idea how strong a chimpanzee is. These people are nuts. I mean, that anyone that thinks they can take on a chimpanzee and win are idiots, complete and utter idiots.
Yeah, absolutely. But then it's not like that's super descriptive of an unfeasibly large proportion of the population, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, it speaks volumes mainly about people's ignorance and also about their own, I don't know, overestimation of our place in the food chain.
Yeah, well, my point about the whole thing that I made on Twitter was, do the Americans think they're allowed a gun? You know, when they're talking about fighting these animals.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. Well, anyway, right, moving on. Now we're going to start. Now we're going to start making fun of Mr. Trump, right? Because Trump actually said this. Some bad person gave them the design. And what's he talking about? He's talking about Oreshnik, isn't he?
No,
or hypersonic.
No, hypersonics.
Well, yeah, but Oreshnik's a hypersonic to a degree. Yeah.
Well, it's a hypersonic glide vehicle.
Yeah.
Which is
anyway,
based on the avant-garde.
Yeah. So anyway, some bad person gave them the design, or they stole it. No. Well, hold on a minute. If that's the case, how come they get theirs working better and faster and before the Americans did? Because the Americans were still struggling to make hypersonics when both China and Russia had them.
But it's actually Scott Ritter did a brilliant thread earlier on about this whole subject, and I'd strongly recommend people go to his profile and check it out if they're interested, because he broke it down in a multi-series thread. And actually, what's more likely is that the American intelligence the hypersonic ideas off the Russians and have never been able to make it work effectively.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I don't know who is giving Trump this information, whether he's actually, I mean, he certainly didn't bring in as advisors any of the people that I would suggest that he did, like Douglas McGregor or Scott Ritter or John Mearsheimer or any of these other people that know infinitely more about these subjects than both of us put together.
I was listening. I was listening to sorry.
No, I was just going to say, it's like he's getting his information from Fox News.
Yeah, see, this worries me a little bit about Trump this time, because I was listening to Douglas McGregor yesterday on Judge Napolitano's podcast, and I got a little bit of a. I think there's a little bit of sour grapes here, because I don't think he's picked up Douglas this time at all, and that, I think Douglas is a sensible head to have as an advisor. And I don't
he's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't think Trump is taking. I don't know if it's Musk's influence or Vance's or somebody else's, but
I would suspect it's more along the lines of Miriam Adelson. I
Who?
think that Miriam Adelson, the Zionist backer, gave him 100 million, and he basically is going to do whatever they want in Israel.
Because McGregor's not terribly complimentary of the Israelis.
No, and I think, unfortunately, it's a mistake that Trump made in his last administration, because he's also got Jared Kushner, who, it turns out, his company owns a massive share in a company that's involved in the West Bank or something. So, unfortunately, I think that Trump's foreign policy is not being run by himself. Now, hopefully, this is all wrong, and he's playing some sort of masterful game of 5D chess and distracting. It's like waving one hand around while the other hand is busy picking pockets or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, he just signed the executive orders to declassify the files on what MLK, RFK. Why these people?
JFK.
What JFK? Well, and Robert as well. You know, the RFK's the first RFK, because he died under dodgy circumstances, didn't he?
Yeah, massively. Supposedly, well, that that was interesting because RFK Senior was killed by a Palestinian called Sirhan,
Yeah.
who claims that he was under mind control. He doesn't remember it. And it's very interesting because if you listen to the accounts of Sirhan, who killed Robert Kennedy, and John Chapman, who killed John Lennon, there's aspects of their story that are frighteningly similar to the point where you start thinking maybe this whole Manchurian Candidate mind control patsy sort of thing.
MK Ultra.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's fascinating stuff. I mean, we have covered this sort of stuff in previous.
Yeah, we've touched on it. Yeah, we have. Yeah. I think there's a lot more to it though than we've touched on. To be fair.
Sure, but I mean, I don't quite know what RFK's thinking. Make America healthy again by getting Larry Ellison to start bleating on about Project Stargate. Let's pump 500 billion into AI. And then use it to make jabs. And was it you that posted a picture on Twitter of a 6-fingered mutant going, until AI can get finger hands right, I'm not trusting it with any kind of medicine.
Yeah, it wasn't me, but I get that point. It's like, what the hell? I question Trump's motives about going down the mRNA cancer vaccination route and all that. And someone came back saying mRNA is a well-proven technology. It's perfectly safe if it's used for good. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute. 1 minute you're telling me don't go near this, and then the next minute, oh no, it's fine if you're a good person. But the thing is, Trump was there both times that mRNA was developed then. Because it was him that first...
The clot daddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just... I think it's ridiculous. I think the best bet is, if you want to avoid stuff like that, stay away from sugar.
Well, stay away from sugar, big pharma, livers.
Yeah.
Just as simple, as few ingredients in your food as possible.
If there's any more than 5 ingredients on the label, and any of the first 3 are sugar, don't buy it.
Unless it's a one-off treat.
Yes, unless it's
treat ourselves.
One-off. Yep. But generally, you should be eating simply.
Absolutely.
And
it's like I did my weekly shop today, and my one naughty treat was a Terry's mint chocolate orange, not orange.
Mint chocolate.
Yeah, like
a mint chocolate sphere.
Yeah, it's like a chocolate orange, but it's mint, and mint chocolate has always been one of my absolute favorite things.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Some people love it, some people hate it, but
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Is it peppermint? Yeah, I just don't know how.
It's the standard sort of minty flavor that they use in chocolate. It's just delicious.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the chocolate orange as well.
Okay. Well,
just like one thing like that as the occasional treat. We're allowed treats, but if you're drinking lots of Diet Coke, then you probably going to wind up with problems. This is what I don't understand about. I don't know if you've got a slide for this, but
no,
Elon Musk, extolling the virtues of Diet Coke and saying how the inventor of Diet Coke is a genius, and it's just like, do you even understand the concept of aspartame being bad for you?
That's exactly what I said this morning. I said, this is why civilization will fail. Clever, smart people doing stupid things.
And you want to trust someone who thinks the inventor of Diet Coke was a genius to actually take you to Mars and ensure your survival on Mars?
No, I don't. You know my feelings on travelling to Mars, and unfortunately, this isn't Total Recall, and it's not Ghost of Mars or The Martian or anything like that.
Have you noticed?
It's all going to work out poorly, very poorly.
Have you noticed that you never really hear Musk talking about going to Mars himself?
He's not even been to space.
No, he always talks about humans colonizing Mars. But is he actually going to be the one to go, or is he just going to be the one to stay on Earth in his doomsday bunker and profit from it all?
I think he's chicken. I really do. I think he's too scared. I mean, Bezos has been up in his own ship. Richard Branson's been up in his own ship, and he saw the thing crash as well. So, the first time. So Richard Branson's been up in his own ship. In fact, Branson's done quite a few things. Remember when he did the Blown Across the Atlantic thing?
Yeah, in his youth he did all sorts of crazy
shit. We
was...
were on standby for that because we were standing by to go and get him if he landed. Because he went off target and he was heading for Strathclyde. So we were sitting in the office on standby because we were to rush out and pick him up if he landed anywhere near our area.
But Branson is one of the original geniuses of self-promotion.
Mm. Yeah, but at least he's got the balls to do it.
Well, yeah.
Musk hasn't been up.
No. Nope. Anyway, have we got another slide?
Yeah, of course we do, mate. Of course we do. Quite a few.
Just end up ranting about Elon Musk.
Well, we've covered the Gulf of America, actually. So, right. Everybody seems to have a hard-on for this guy, and I don't quite get it, right? I don't quite get it. Because even Musk is saying this guy's brilliant, Argentina's Milei confronts the WEF globalists for their policies that are forcing the UK to sacrifice blah, 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 right? Okay, that's kind of a bit of a distraction for Milei to start going on about these things because Milei's actually implementing globalist policies in his own country because he's trying to drive down his debt by using austerity and cutting public services, right? And trying to drive down his inflation rate, and as instructed to do so by the IMF, right? And putting his own people into massive poverty.
Well, it's actually, yes, initially, the poverty
rate... Hold on. Initially.
It's a decent number, though. Well, no, because it at one point...
52% are in poverty at the moment.
Well, no, I'm not defending him because I think he's a creepy weirdo, and he's one of those world leaders that really creeps me out. At the end of the day, yeah.
I don't get it because he's increased the poverty since he took power by 10%, right?
And he shipped all the Argentinian gold off somewhere.
Yeah, he's hidden that. He's stopped people being able to get paid in dollars. They're only allowed I think they're allowed something like $200 per month or something like that. So the overall poverty level is 52%. Children, though, the poverty level for children is 70% of kids are in poverty. 15% of the population are in severe poverty. I mean, the whole this is fine. There's nothing wrong with austerity if it's implemented slowly and gradually, right, in order to make these changes. But you can't do these changes in 4 years. This guy is putting... I'll go as far as to say I think he's killing people right now. I think that's what he's doing.
Yes, I think so too. I mean, the thing is that the Argentinian economy has always been a bit of a basket case.
Yeah, it has. They're too volatile.
Yeah, it's interesting. Who is it? I think it was Pepe Escobar, who I think he was talking to Judge Napolitano or Nima from Dialogue Works or something. But he basically said that there's a running joke amongst Latino Americans, like South Americans, about the Argentinians, that if it's raining, all of the other South Americans will be getting an umbrella and the Argentinians will be standing in there looking up at the sky going, "Oh, God is making me wet." I think I've mangled that one a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
They have perhaps an inflated opinion of themselves, from what I've heard, and I've never been there. But at the same time, Argentina has always been a bit of an odd place because we had all sorts of Germans settling there in the late 1940s and all sorts of rumours about other people who might have settled there, and certain sections of Argentina that look just like a bit of Bavaria.
Well, They did have a U-boat turn up in a harbour at one point. There is
There
rumours.
There are parts of Argentina that do look like Bavaria.
There are parts of Argentina that have German enclaves that you're not allowed to go into, still to this day. Right? I mean, did you ever watch that, The Hunt for Hitler? Because they went into one of these places and got run out the village. Because, no. I mean, the place was, it looked like Bavaria. It looked like an Alpine village. It was incredible.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, the other interesting thing about Millet is that apparently his family origins aren't Spanish. They're or
Slavic.
They're immigrants from Poland.
Oh God.
And because Benjamin Netanyahu's original family name was Milikowski, and you could turn Millet into Milikowski really quite easily.
Yeah.
And if you change Milikowski to Millet, it sounds more Spanish.
Yeah, probably does.
I've wondered whether there's, because I mean they're both kind of nut jobs. I don't know. I'm not saying there is a connection there, but I just found that interesting.
Yeah,
but I mean, like I said, I think he's a creepy weirdo, and I'm not sure. He's essentially. I don't think it's right to try grand social experiments on entire countries, because when you look at Cambodia or China and Mao's Great Leap Forward, or what happened with the Bolsheviks. I mean, there's all sorts of examples of these grand experiments being conducted on countries and then subsequently millions of people dying.
Yeah. And that reminds me, I mean, I've been using the utopian experiment video to explain a lot of things these days, because it's a lot of what happened in that mouse utopia that seems to be very applicable to modern day society. And I used it today to illustrate a point. And you know Gunky used to come on here, but apparently he's now gone to Spaces on Twitter.
I saw he was doing a space, bless him.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just not. There's something about Spaces that's just not right. I think I need to see people when they're talking to judge. I like to judge their authenticity, and you can't do that just by voice. Because look how many people thought Richard Nixon was brilliant, because he won the radio debates. But the people that watched TV thought JFK, immolated them in those debates.
Yeah, it's just I've never really found the format much of a draw.
No, personally. I don't like it. But anyway, apart from that, I was using the mouse utopia to illustrate something, and Gunky came on and goes, "Yeah, that's all very well, but what would you do to make the civilization work?" And I'm like, well, I don't understand. He ran the experiment 6 times and it failed every time. And he's going, yeah, but I'd like to introduce things to make it work. Like challenges and stuff like that. And I goes, you mean like just regular mice? In the regular world. The whole point of the experiment was everything was provided for these mice. They had no challenge. So he wants to start introducing wars and have like food appearing only at certain times. And I'm saying, but that's just regular life for a mouse, But
it's that kind of thinking where you're trying to perfect utopia.
No, but he's not. He's trying to go back to what it was, and it's like, you don't need to, because the whole point of the experiment was to show that if you didn't have these challenges, then your society stagnates.
Yeah, but maybe what he's trying to say is that you could maybe design something that's a halfway house.
Yeah, well, you maybe could, but then again, that's back to where we are just now, because I pretty much think we're in the halfway house at the moment, because the nanny state is providing more and more for you. Challenges are getting less and less, and people are starting to behave like.
But it's also, people forget that actually humans thrive in adversity.
Yes.
If we have the right mindset,
yeah,
and we have the right tools, and we're mentally equipped to deal with challenges, I mean, if you look at people who homestead in Alaska and they go out and they live like 100 miles from the nearest tiny ass little town that has one store in it, and they literally, they're completely self-sufficient, and they figure out ways of getting the materials that they need, and they utilize what's around them, and they actually manage to carve out, in some cases, a really comfortable existence. And they are super fulfilled and super happy. And they have to deal with all kinds of different challenges. Yeah. But because of their mindset, their whole existence is around challenges. And I think that's where...
Yeah, and look at what happens today in our society. We set ourselves artificial challenges because we don't have that many actual challenges. You know, people set themselves targets like, you know, I want to do 10,000 steps a day or whatever, that are artificial challenges because, you know, you don't need to do 10,000 steps a day in order to survive in the society we're in just now.
And that's actually, I mean, to be honest, in a way, that's actually really healthy. But at the same time, the government is, because we have this, I mean, we already had the health and safety nonsense. And then we had the COVID nonsense. And now we just have this government that seems that you're not allowed to have any risks. There can't be anything risky in modern society because that's dangerous and frowned upon and everything else. And it just ends up turning people into these miserable, helpless, like blobs, basically. And there's people that go out there and challenge, but then you've also got the ones that go too far the other way, and end up just doing stupid, crazy shit like that guy that was diving into the sea in Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, those Russian kids that fall off tall buildings and things like that, you know. Yeah,
it's like, let's go to the top of this tall building and take a selfie and you're dead.
Yeah. Couple of things on the chat. Clown World, is that a new name? No, he's not. He's a moderator, so he's been here before. Clown World, Trump revokes. Yeah, we covered Fauci's security protections very early on in the episode, my man. You need to get in quick. Nick Teridis, we are no different from the Roman population, kept under control by bread and circuses. Yeah, to a degree. Yeah. Although I think the Roman population probably had more say in how Rome ran than we actually do, even though they had like an emperor. Because they were quite... Well, I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, Nectarines would be the person to... I mean, he would know, basically.
Yeah, I suppose so. Right. What's fabulous news, Ray? What's happened to Ray? Where's he? I don't see yet. What's a fabulous news, Julie?
I'm not seeing scrolling up.
No, I don't see anything. And I'm on live chat. I don't know what he's talking about.
Anyway, next slide.
Next slide. Moving on. Disney CEO pay jumps to $41 million as workers face layoffs. Bob Iger's compensation soared 30% to $41.1 million, including stock shares and bonuses. How can someone get paid that? How can someone get paid that?
Well, I mean, how can someone justify that kind of pay when people are being laid off and Disney's lowest paid worker is probably on starvation wages, and there's probably quite a lot of them, the ones that clean the toilets at Disneyland and that sort of job. But this is just,
and all their movies are just going up in smoke. They'll just burn their money. Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember the last time that I saw something from Disney that I enjoyed. Maybe The Mandalorian, which was really good, but that was also...
Andor wasn't too bad.
I enjoyed Andor. Andor. I actually, strangely enough, quite enjoyed Obi-Wan as well, but maybe I'm just a weirdo. Because it wasn't... I don't know. I just... My inner child just likes the whole backstory piece. But
there was a few plot holes in Obi-Wan, though, that didn't quite gel, wasn't there?
But the thing is that the Star Wars stuff that I have seen that was good was the stuff that literally Disney didn't have very much to do with, or they just let Jon Favreau and people get on with it. But I think to me, this story speaks to a bigger problem that we have in society, Western society particularly, is rich assholes.
Yeah.
Frankly. They're essentially just, and I'm not trying to get all communist and workers owning the means of production and all of this nonsense, because I don't think that works either. But there has to be a balance between, yes, we can't have a mouse utopia. You have to have achievement. I mean, the Matrix is another good example of that. Well, we built the perfect Matrix and it broke down because it was too perfect.
Yes.
So you do theoretically have to have rich and poor, but perhaps.
Well, right, okay. To maybe save you struggling on here, can I interject with a thought, right? And people might not like this, okay? Now, Bob Iger there is earning 41 million or whatever a year, which is a freaking obscene amount of money, but he appears to be doing nothing to benefit anyone with it. Now, for all his faults and probably misdirection, at least people like Gates and Musk are actually trying to do things.
Well, I would agree with Musk. Gates, yes, Gates is trying to do things, but everything Gates is trying to do is evil. And but let's just not go there.
No, but no, I think we can approach this quite sensibly from the point of view that, yes, what Gates does, I think, turns out to be evil. But, and this goes back to the conversations we used to have with Mark Jangizi, I don't think Gates sets out to be evil. I think he thinks he's doing good, right? Now, that doesn't prevent him doing evil, and it's the same for people like, even people like, and, you know, this is going to be terribly unpopular, but Matt Hancock, in his own head, right, he thought he was doing the right thing. Now, there is no doubt in my mind that he wasn't. He is an evil arsehole, but I don't think he's a deliberately evil arsehole. I think he's evil by extension, you know?
As much as I hate to agree with you, I have to say that I think I do agree with you about that. And one has to, for all of our own feelings that we have towards such people, you can't necessarily jump into someone's head. But at the same time, I don't know, someone like Gates, who's continuously doing the same sort of shit and has got, I mean, it's like his whole experience in India, where he's caused all sorts of problems and he refuses to acknowledge it. Yeah. So if you think I'm going around the world thinking that I'm doing the right thing and totally ignoring any of the fucking harm that's happening as a result of the things I'm doing.
You're right. And let's face it, almost every example of polio at the moment is vaccine derived. You know, and
That's
people
been for quite a long time now.
Well, yeah, but people don't seem to understand when you try and tell them that. They don't seem to understand that means that people that were vaccinated caused it.
Well, this is something that I've always. Yeah, let's not talk about this because we'll end up getting the show. Let's just move on to the next slide.
Right. Okay. But, I mean, then for the purposes of YouTube, censors, vaccine-derived diseases do exist and are factual, although we're not promoting them by any measure. Right.
All I'd say is just,
We're actually getting towards the funnies now. We're starting to. The Scottish ice cream brand, right, from Galloway, which is in Scotland, on the, just Solway Firth, Galloway. So the cream of Galloway ice cream is moving to Yorkshire. So what's it going to be, the cream of Yorkshire? How can you see? This is what gets me about the SNP. They're doing so freaking well that companies are moving to England. They are moving to England to make their products.
When you look at how well England's doing,
That's sad, isn't it?
This one's kind of left me a bit speechless because I just can't. I mean, don't know. Isn't there a Yorkshire brand of ice cream? Wouldn't they be a bit pissed off about this?
I mean, I don't think they're going to compete with the Yorkshire people. They just want to make their ice cream in an environment where they're not going to lose money.
Well,
and unfortunately, working in Scotland, you're overtaxed and underpaid.
And they're moving to England, where we're also overtaxed and underpaid.
Not as much as you are in Scotland.
Well, exactly, and it's just it's a complete indictment of our entire system of government and all of the entire political class.
Yeah,
of the entire Great British Islands just needs to get in the bin. Literally, at this point, we would be better off without any of them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like, oh yeah, we need the bins emptied. Yeah, we can figure that out. You have a community tax, and you pay X amount of money into a pot, and everybody does that, and we get the fucking bins changed. Same with the water, same with the gas, same with all of this other nonsense.
See, this is the thing that gets me. Look, councils are terribly inefficient structures. I mean, I've worked in a council. I worked on a council for 7 years or
but
so,
they seem
right?
to pride themselves in being inefficient.
Yeah, but they do, and
it's like they give themselves awards for being inefficient.
But that's government, isn't it? That's government across the board. And the thing is,
but it doesn't have to be, because
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. That's the thing. Councils and governments and things should be streamlined and should be held accountable to people, and they're not. That's the problem. Government's not accountable to anyone.
Absolutely, and they have loads of different fiefdoms.
And
have,
before anyone comes back to me and says, "But you've got to vote them in," 5 years between elections is not accountability. No way.
And also, when they promise, as did the current government, when they're on the campaign trail and they make all sorts of promises and they're basically spouting bullshit 24/7 and they're telling everybody what they want to hear. And as soon as they come into power, all of that shit goes out of the window and they're worse than the last lot. And it's just like, nobody voted for any of this stuff and you're doing it anyway.
Here's a thought.
And if you complain you're a far-right terrorist and we're going to lock you up for 3 years.
Yeah. What would governments be like if there was a general election every year?
The problem with that, it's an interesting idea, but the problem with government is that we've now got a system that is completely short-termist. That they don't. I mean, politicians, they're quite happy to make decisions if they think the consequences of those decisions can be passed off to the next muppet that's in power.
Yeah,
and that's the worst way to run a country. It's an argument that I've had with people.
Yeah, but if there was
Putin is a dictator. Let me just finish.
Right.
But when you look at the way that Russia has been run, the only reason that Russia was able to pull itself out of the catastrophe that happened to it in the late 90s, after it was completely raped by the West, was a figure like Putin, who has some stability. And you've also got Medvedev. And I mean, Lavrov has been foreign minister in Russia for like 20 or 30 years or something. And the thing with that is that if the leaders are good, that's a great idea, because you have plans and you bring them to fruition and you develop your country. The problem with that is that when they're bad leaders, you have them for a massively long period of time and it all goes Pete Tong. But you need to have some sort of system
for us.
Yeah, precisely. But we need some sort of system that is kind of a halfway house, that there has to be some incentive for political parties who are in government to think long term. And theoretically, in our model, that's the civil service. But the civil service are a bunch of useless wankers, mostly.
So maybe there needs to be a trigger that can be pulled by the public to force an election early. If enough of the public.
I think there should be a special petition.
Yeah, well,
not like the normal government petitions, but there should be a special petition that we have, which requires, I don't know, 60% of the population to vote for it.
Yeah.
And that you can then trigger. It's almost like because we've now got the internet, so doing things like that is easier because you can check it with driver's license. You have to have a
Yep.
driver's license to
Oh, if you need two IDs to buy a knife, should you not need two IDs to vote?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. And then you have some sort of system where people can register a grievance, or it's just this is the way it works. You have a website. As soon as a new government comes into power, the clock is reset on this counter, and anytime people feel strongly about wanting to get rid of the government, they can go in and vote, yes, I want to get rid of them. But here's an interesting twist. They can also vote no.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go in and say, I'm really pissed off with the government. But then if the government starts doing things better, you can say, okay, no, I'm not pissed off with them anymore.
Okay.
And so you would have this running tally.
So why don't we do a thing like, semi-direct democracy, for instance, along the way of Switzerland? Because there's no barrier to doing it these days with the internet.
One big barrier.
What's that?
One big barrier, the education system. That if you look at the quality of the Swiss education system,
right,
and the overall, because in Switzerland that whole system is baked in, so they have a population that is capable of making those decisions, whereas we've got a population they've spent the last 50 years trying to dumb down. So
you're saying effectively that the nanny state is required now in the UK?
No, I don't think it is required.
But you're saying that we can't make effective decisions for ourselves?
No, I'm not saying that. I think.
Okay, what are you saying then? Because you're saying that the population isn't equipped to make the correct decisions when it comes to certain, let's say, for instance, political questions. Should we get rid of Trident? Should that be put out to a referendum? And Switzerland... hold on.
I'm allowed to change my mind on this.
You are? Because Switzerland would put that out to a referendum. Right. So would you say that we should be able to put certain things out to referendum?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And
because
I don't think that I don't think the political class should be able to stop it.
Yeah, in the great scheme of things, right, there'll probably be a degree of balance amongst the population, because there are people who are well-educated, exceptionally well-educated, and people who are middle of the road, and people who are poorly educated, and there will be a degree of balance to an extent. Yeah.
Sure, and I think that if we're talking about direct democracy now that I think about it, actually, it's like a lot of people don't vote now because they're just like, well, it's just a uniparty, just bullshit system. I'm not going to get involved. Whereas if there was a bit more direct democracy, you would potentially have a much more involved populace who actually gave a shit about issues and actually wanted to educate themselves about issues.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Also, the
great point.
The place where this whole direct democracy thing breaks down a little bit, which is fixable, is the media.
Yeah.
That we have to get rid of this media that is a complete tool of the political class and just fills people's heads with absolute nonsense.
But, and here's a thought. You wouldn't need such a big political class because you wouldn't need to be represented in all things.
That's a fair point. Could get rid of MPs, but then
to a degree,
the whole idea of having a representative is that whole system would have to change as well, because we have very few good MPs. And the system doesn't seem to incentivize good MPs. And when it comes to important votes, we have the whole whip system, which means that the government can just say, you better all vote.
Just dictatorship, isn't it, really?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so the question is, it's fine to have a representative to go to Westminster to represent you when it took 3 days to get from York to London, right? 4 or 5 days to go from Edinburgh. But now, at the press of a button, you can register your vote. So you don't need a representative to the same degree that you had before.
Absolutely. why do we have? I mean, because my elected, I didn't. Apart from the fact that I didn't vote for the person who represents my constituency.
Yeah.
I don't agree with them, and I've tried writing to them, and they're basically just.
Yeah, they just. I know. I've written to MPs as well. I wrote to
people like write to your MP. Yeah,
I would
if I didn't.
And they just come back with platitudes, and you don't know what you're talking about, son. Basically,
absolutely.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah,
no
and it's that exactly, and it's that arrogance of the political class. Just get rid of them. Just have some sort of if important decisions need to be made. We set up a specific website that you need 2 forms of ID to log into, including your face. And you have to be an adult, and you have to be allowed to vote.
Yep.
And then you go in and vote. Simple.
Yeah. So here's a question. I don't know the answer to this. What's the turnout on referenda compared to the turnout on general voting? Because I think it's higher. I think it's higher. I mean, you think about it. Brexit and things like that, and certainly the vote for Brexit, the vote against or for unionism up here, I think the turnout was pretty high. So I think, like you're saying, people would be more inclined to make decisions and actually vote.
And people would be engaged. And the whole thing about our political class and the evil bastards that run this country is that they don't want people engaged. This is the whole point. They want their lapdogs in the media to spoon feed everybody whatever it is that they're supposed to be thinking about on any given day. And they want the government, they want basically everybody to be beholden to the government to protect them and keep them safe. It's, daddy government, keep me safe.
And we don't need it. We don't need
it. And this is why we had all the terror laws since 9/11. And we've now got an entire generation, 2 generations of kids that don't know what life was like before 9/11.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's scary because they don't understand
how things changed.
Lost, and they've now normalized things that should not be normalized.
Yep.
And it's anyway. Let's move on.
I think we've just saved the world. Let's move on to the funnies. So this is Louisiana.
Putting it to rights.
Yeah, this is Louisiana, where it snowed. And this guy's driving an airboat in the park.
Well, some of the crazy footage that I've seen out of the southeastern United States over the last few days, it just gives me, I don't know. It fills me with love for my American cousins.
Have you traveled? Have you traveled much in the States?
No, the only place in the US that I've been is Chicago and Ohio, and we did a canoeing trip. But Wisconsin is that sort of area.
I've traveled fairly extensively in the States, and I love the South. The South is just
one of my favorite TV shows is called Moonshiners, and it covers all of those beautiful people. And I mean, just like some of the hillbillies in Appalachia and like places like Kentucky. And I mean, there's something.
Yeah. I just love the South. The South's it's got a vibe about it that's
you can feel it
sleazy yet seductive. It's like people are so nice, and it's just I mean, every state's different, but Georgia's fantastic. Louisiana, the people are so fucking laid back. They're nearly horizontal. I mean,
well, when it's that hot and sweaty and humid, you don't really want to be doing very much.
We pulled into a diner, it was a fast food hot dog burger stand place. We pulled in and we walked in, sat down. And normally you'd go up to the counter, but we just sat down and we were just looking at the menu to see what we were going to get. And the guy came over to us. You guys all want something? And I'm like, yeah, I'll have a hot dog. And my mate goes, yeah, I'll have a hot dog as well. And, a Coke or whatever, because we were young. And the guy goes back, and he comes back about 10 minutes later, right? Because y'all want chili on your dogs? And it's like, yeah, okay. And then about 10 minutes later, the hot dogs came out. I mean, it was like so laid back. But you know what? Why rush? Why rush? Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said for that. I think it's very much down to climate, because you see the same sort of thing in southern Spain, where
in Greece
happens at a slower pace of life. I mean, the same is true in Africa,
Malta,
and
Greece.
And when it's really hot, it's like you notice that when really.
Yes
we
and no.
used to have really hot summers here.
Until you get to Asia, then they get frenetic. What is it about Asians? They just don't fucking slow down. The Chinese never stop.
No, but I mean, that's why they're developing so fast.
I think they're aliens.
Well,
I mean, you look at them, they're completely different from us. They've got a much higher IQ. They've got those weird eyes. Right? I think they're hybrid aliens. Could be.
Well, I mean, we're not quite in rabbit. Well, this is all in, not the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding on, but
I mean,
the Chinese don't stop. They're mental.
No, and I mean, it's amazing some of the stuff that they've achieved just in terms of infrastructure. I mean, they've built bridges in places that Western engineers said, no, you can't build a bridge there. And in the time that the Western engineers have finished laughing at this silly Chinese,
they built a bridge.
The Chinese built the bloody bridge.
Listen, mate, I saw them build a 52-story building. Pardon me, using bamboo scaffolding.
I know, I've seen pictures of it. Holy shit!
They built the Connaught Centre in Hong Kong using bamboo scaffolding, and the thing is 52 stories high. It was one of the highest buildings in Asia at the time, and this was way back in the 70s. It is crazy. And the thing is, every week on the news, they would tell you how many people died.
That's the problem. Yeah, I think...
Not because of the scaffold, just because they fell off. You know.
But I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think the West needs a little bit more of that and a bit less of the can't work out what fucking gender we are.
Yeah. We need to get rid of this woke mind virus, as Elon Musk calls it. Right, moving on. So this is a P&O cruise. Okay.
Upside down ice creams.
Yeah, upside down snow cones. So apparently the passengers were shocked. I would be gutting myself with laughter. But
I literally have needed a change of underwear.
Yeah, this is the staff coming out to do some sort of show dressed like that. And the thing is, and I didn't show it deliberately, but one of them did an Elon Musk style salute. So I don't think they were upside down snow cones, regardless of what P&O say.
Well, if they were supposed to be snow, I'm assuming by snow cone we mean a freaking ice
like
cream.
A slushy, aye.
Well, in which case, why is it's not supposed to all be ice cream? It's supposed to be where's the cone?
Exactly.
If they're upside down snow cones, where is the cone?
They're not snow cones, mate. They're not snow cones.
I mean, did you think do people even think this shit through sometimes? No, they don't.
I mean, but they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to. This is actually okay. Why not mock what used to happen in the past? Why not?
Well, precisely. I mean, ultimately, and also there's freedom of expression. Are these guys walking around with knives trying to stab anybody? No. Is it in massively poor taste?
Yeah, possibly.
Kind of.
But comedy's supposed to be exempt from this, isn't it?
But they don't look like they're trying to be funny.
They're on their way. They're on their way to the show. They're just walking past. They were going somewhere.
But they're going to put other things on.
I don't know. Well, I don't know what they were doing.
Put the snow cone on once they get to.
I don't know if it was like a dance routine or something. I don't know. I mean, the thing's completely out of context.
That is. I was actually going to make exactly the same point. Is that it's the same with the Elon Musk.
The Roman salute.
Doing a German salute.
Well, yeah, everybody does that, mate. Everybody does that.
Precisely.
Taylor Swift does it.
And I think a lot of it is distraction. And people latching onto something and then having that, because for all of the times this gets a view and a click and everything else, people aren't viewing and clicking things that are actually much more important.
Exactly. Right. Moving on. Now, this is where we gone back to mocking Americans slightly, because the level of education is frightening. So just found out that Donald Trump wants to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Does that mean that everybody who fought in the Gulf War never existed and the battle never happened? Have family members who did, and you can't rewrite history. So, how will that work in the books?
You notice that it's on Facebook. It's like I would like to point out about this comment is that this is Facebook.
Yeah, but that's scary. And you know what? I think that's probably true. I think it's probably a real...
yeah, but as you probably encountered on your trips to America, I've found the one of the 2 trips that I've made to the States. Yeah, I found myself. We were on a canoeing trip on the upper Mississippi River, and we found ourselves in this wonderfully air-conditioned, very friendly bar in a place called Clayton, Iowa, which is the guy that we were doing the trip with said it's basically redneck country.
Yeah.
And they latch onto the accent and it's like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, England. How long does it take to drive there?
and your amphibious car, sir.
Yeah. And you just, I don't know, as an English person, you hear stories like that from other people who have been to America. You never really quite believe it. You think, oh, they're exaggerating a little bit. And then you're sat there with this wonderfully ice cold beer, having spent 2 hours canoeing in the hot, blistering freaking sunshine. And this guy just you don't even know how to answer the questions. Like, you can't drive there.
Indeed, and just to move on to the next one, this is also our friends in America. The third pounder burger failed in America because they thought quarter pounders were bigger. And Ashley replies, "Yeah, because they are. No, one third is greater than 1/4. 0.33 is greater than 0.25. What are those signs?"
Oh, that's like the...
It's just as well you're purdy, actually. It's just as well you're purdy.
Well, yeah, but there's looks only make up for so much.
Yeah, I know. Now, next one is incredible. Oh, gird your loins, sir, gird your loins. Roses are red, life isn't fair. Man's testicle accidentally gets stuck in IKEA chair. Oh, no.
How
awful. It doesn't bear thinking about.
So what were you doing butt naked on an IKEA chair?
He's sitting in the shower. It's in a shower. He's obviously an old elderly gentleman, or he's got a bad leg or something, and he's sitting in the shower and one just popped through one of those holes. Oh my God. That doesn't bear think about. So we're back to our American friends. I hate it when a mother fudger soon shit. When they what?
What?
Soon shit without knowing all the facts. I asked a guy for subtitles today because I said I couldn't speak black.
That one actually took me 10 seconds or something to work it out. So but also you're able to spell a word like motherfucker. But you can't spell a word like assume, which is actually fewer letters.
Yeah, but it sounds complicated. Assume. Anyway, now
it
just
sounds complicated if you have an American accent and you.
Yeah, okay. And a lowly education standard. So moving on, just to prove that we are indeed equal opportunity mockers, this one comes to you from the Kingdom of Fife.
I saw this one earlier.
So this guy tried to drive across a footbridge in his little tiny car and got kind of confused when he found there were stairs at the other end.
Did he think it was a special?
He had to bump up on the pavement to get onto the footbridge. I don't know what he was thinking.
But I don't think people are thinking a lot of the time.
This
anymore.
is Dunfermline and Fife. This is ridiculous. But
it's actually frightening how stupid people are, and it doesn't. I'm sorry, we have been lampooning our American cousins a little bit.
No, but
over the course of the show, but
Fife's just below Dundee, so, and it's on the East Coast, so there's a lot of inbreeding over there.
Right. So you're essentially blaming inbreeding for the problem of a
East Coasters, mate. East Coasters, you just can't legislate for them.
But what? I mean, obviously you're driving a car, so you have to be engaging with your brain on some level, otherwise you would never drive the car. But how is it that you would think that it was, what is it, a shortcut?
I don't know what the guy's... I mean, I don't understand how the guy even thought that was going to be a thing. He maybe thought, hey, I want to get over that road, but I don't want to have to bother going down and round and all that. I'm just going to nip across the footbridge. And then halfway across, he realises, oh shit, there's stairs at the other end. And then he realises...
If he was a local, he'd know that there's stairs were there.
Exactly, so he's not a local. He's obviously someone who's probably from further north in Fife, which is as you go further north, the intelligence level drops. But anyway, and he's got to the point where he can't even open the doors in the car because it's that tight against the fence. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, mate. Don't overthink it. Now, again, I don't know where this is, but I suspect it might be Scotland, because who else would don a suit of armour to go to the shops in weather like this? Who would do that? What the actual? I'm just bring the armour, Janie. I'm going to the shops.
Honestly, I just don't. I mean, that is someone that has been so. They've been terrified by the media to the point that their brain has turned into haggis or something. I don't know if haggis for brains is an expression in Scotland, but it probably should be. I
think it's different. I think it's the fact this guy, right? This guy has been living for this moment because he's been sitting there thinking, I bought that suit of armour on a whim and I've never been able to use it. And then
drunk shopping.
Then at this moment in time, he's gone, the armour! I can wear the armour!
Oh, dear.
It's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Bonnie Blue has been honoured with a restaurant's extra meat sandwich, and fan reaction is priceless. Brings a whole new meaning to Smash Burger. Yeah, okay. The least said about that, the better, probably.
It was one of the things that I'd spotted on Twitter that I was gonna. Did I actually? Yeah.
Right, you ready? Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I'll send it to you because it's topical.
Oh, you want me to show it?
Yeah, I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. It's easier.
Right, send it now.
Showing my screen.
Send it now and I'll copy it.
I sent it on WhatsApp.
Got it. And by the miracle of not having a producer, I have actually managed to do things fairly quickly for a change. 1,000 new dinghy arrivals in a day under my watch.
I mean, the two, we've essentially now got two slutty English girls trying to outslut each other on
Yeah.
OnlyFans,
I
making the
know.
entire country, who is at the same time having a massive scandal about what gangs.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the whole thing is it's suspiciously adjacent. Yeah,
it's all too. It feels too much like narrative management and stuff.
it does a bit. It stinks of the civil service.
Yeah, it really does. It has all of the whiffs of an intel op. Then it's just like two honeypots capturing the whole country.
Did you ever watch Spin City with Michael J. Fox?
I think I did many years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just thought of that there because I remember we've talked about watching things like, In the Thick of It, Yes Minister, Yes Prime Minister. Those kind of things are all very relevant. But Spin City is pretty relevant as well, I think. Telling us what actually was going on in government without telling us what was going on in government. Now, the next one, and don't gird your loins for this one, but brace yourself. So this one's a classic. I mean, I don't even know how this happens. So, a lady ordered a printed book of her wedding pics online. When it arrived, it was a big black book entitled Shoulder Meat. It was filled with pictures of different people with meat on their shoulders. The fuck? Look, you can see the meat. You can see the meat on their shoulder. What the fuck? Somebody made a book by putting meat on people's shoulders and calling it shoulder meat. That's just mental.
Just every time, this is what I love about this show, is that every time I think the world can't possibly get any more batshit crazy, you show me something like this.
Oh boy, we've got one slide left, and you know what? It might be a mistake and it might be a misrepresentation. It might be something lost in translation, but this was actually published on an Indian website. An Indian proper news website, the Hindustan Times, right? Okay, so this was actually published. So, Egypt to bring in a law allowing man to have sex with dead wife.
Yeah, apparently this is an actual thing.
Yeah, Egypt's new Islamic-dominated parliament is preparing to introduce a controversial law that would allow husbands to have sex with their deceased wives up to 6 hours after death.
They call it goodbye sex or something.
Oh my God.
Well, it's the same as the Iraqi parliament has just
introduced I know, but
allowing 9-year-olds to get married.
May I ask, what happens after the 6th hour that makes it illegal?
And how would they know?
Oh my God, this is sick. This is just sick.
I mean,
what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, your wife's just died, right? And this is terrible. This is a terrible time. Your wife's just died. Whose thought immediately turns to porking her? I mean, what the actual fuck are these people thinking?
I mean, I have actually lost a partner before.
Oh God!
Not a wife. We weren't married.
But yeah, I know.
We've been together for a while. And
you didn't think about it, did you?
I can tell you categorically, once you just watched your partner's life slip away on a hospital bed, literally the last thing you're fucking thinking about is sex. I mean, what kind of person even thinks about that, and where are they, and how quickly can we lock them up? To actually make it a law. What I don't understand is that I've been to Egypt. I mean, Egypt is an incredibly conservative country. I mean, it's not. But at the same time, there's some weird shit out there. I don't. Maybe this.
Yeah, but remember,
this is just the Hindustan Times taking the piss. I don't know.
Maybe, but remember. When you go and visit,
let's ask Grok, because one thing that Grok is.
Oh no, I've already asked it. I asked it, and it said it is a real article, and it was published. So
no, but is it an actual real thing? Because it might be a real article, but it's an actual
they're not 100% sure about that. But the thing is, when you visit a country, it's completely different from living in it. You know what I mean? And you never know what a country. You know this as well.
True. Yeah, no,
you don't know what a country's like until you actually live in it, because then you start to understand all the different things that work out in the country. I mean, it's like France. I didn't have a clue that France was like going back to the 1980s until I started living there, and it's fucking brilliant. I loved France. And Sweden's like living, and Sweden is the closest thing you can get to living in America, right? Without living in America. I've never seen anywhere like it. It's even got Circle K's. And the Swedes are so laid back, they're so nice people, and they're a bit like Scottish people in that they don't talk that much, but they will talk to you if you talk to them. And I just loved Sweden. I actually loved Sweden. We nearly bought a house in Sweden, and it's a bit of a regret that we didn't. We probably should have just sold the van and bought the house.
I've never been to Sweden, but I've met one of my.
We could have had, right? It was a 3-bedroom house. It was a wood burning central heating system. It had a barn, which was bigger than the house. It had a wood store. It had a garage, and it had a workshop. Right. It was set in 5 acres, and it had its own woodland. There was a snowmobile in the barn that was coming with the house, and there was a wood splitter and cutter in the workshop for cutting all your wood for the winter, right? We could have had that for £14,000.
Fucking hell. You really fucked up.
Yeah, we should have bought that. We should have bought it.
We should just self-flagellate a little bit.
Yeah, I know. We should just have sold the van and stayed there. But yeah.
I've never been there, but
it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think the big cities, especially Malmo, maybe Stockholm to a degree, but I think Malmo is a bit of an issue, right? With migration and stuff like that, and I think that's where they have all the issues with the bombings and stuff. But rural Sweden, it's like France. Paris is a shithole, but rural France is just fucking brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I mean, it's the same with Britain.
Well, yeah, it is. You're right.
Because the big cities are a shithole, but there's plenty of lovely little communities out there.
Yeah.
Small little villages where it is like living back in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Or the 1960s in some cases.
Well, yeah. So, there you go.
Let's see if I got any other ones.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you because we're 10 minutes over. Stated time.
Oh no, fuck it! I'm drinking, so whatever. And I don't mind running over, but if I'm in the mood. But when I'm actually staring down the barrel of a 2-hour show, it's just like.
These shows we used to limit these shows to an hour, mate.
Yeah, that's just because you and I could talk the hind legs off a fucking donkey between us.
Yeah, probably.
We've already covered that one. Oh, one that you didn't cover.
Go on.
Was the Spanish Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, who this week told Davos that anonymity needs to be eliminated on social media and everybody needs to be linked to a digital ID. So, yeah, Spain's gone proper fascist.
Yeah, well, Spain's always been a bit fascist, to be fair.
Well, yeah, but you didn't think Franco was going to be coming back.
Yeah, well... It's never always expect the unexpected.
We've already covered Dale Vance dressing like a
that guy's
teenage girl.
Yeah.
The other funny one that I spotted was that apparently Iran has just unveiled an underwater naval base 3 days after Trump took office, and so we've basically got. Hang on, where did that go?
Iran's got an underwater naval base.
Yeah.
Where? In the Gulf?
It was a thread. They didn't release the exact location. However, they said it's off the coast. On top of that, they said
The
it's
coast
in
of
about
what?
off the coast of Iran.
Right, okay.
Supposedly, it's in about 500 meters of water, which is very deep. I mean, if you think the recreational
500
scuba
meters.
limit, the recreational scuba limit, as you know, is 40 meters.
Yeah.
Your sort of average technical dive can be 100 meters without problem.
500 meters is deep.
The deepest that a human diver has ever been in the Guinness Book of World Records was this mad Egyptian military bastard that went down to about 340 meters. And he's hilarious because he had so many stage tanks on him. He looked like this weird aluminium porcupine.
Yeah.
So 500 meters.
Yeah, because it probably took him, God knows how long to get down there, but 4 times the time to come back up because of decompression.
He went down in 20 minutes or half an hour or something. It's very quick. And it took him nearly
4 hours.
No, it was more like 12 or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, he was, let me just,
what happens if you need a dump?
How long is the deepest?
Oh no, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's okay having a pee in a wetsuit, or was it a dry suit at that depth?
No, well, no, he would have been in a dry suit.
Yeah.
But dry suits for men particularly have a pee valve.
Mine didn't.
14 hours he was in deco.
I've got my own dry suit. It doesn't have a pee valve.
332 meters. So, and the thing is that at 500 meters, that's actually, I mean, if you're going to do an underwater military base, 500 meters is actually good depth because you're not quite in the realm of it's going to crush everything.
Yeah, but you're not going to get the odd swimmer coming by.
Well, yeah, you're not going to get tech divers going down there. And they've actually, I mean, they've released videos of it. They've got Iran released a short video of the base showing their new drone speedboats. These boats can launch cruise missiles and evade enemy radar. And the Iranians say the base can take on enemies big and small. And I think it's just a bit of saber rattling. And the thing is that, I mean, the Iranians have built some crazy shit underground, so it wouldn't surprise me if they've done this. I mean, so that's the Iranian underwater base. I'm waiting for someone to announce that they've got a moon base. I mean, come on. Yeah, that was all. I think that was all the stories I found.
That's cool.
But there was one more from the New York Times, which is this classic Ukraine headline saying, Ukraine is losing fewer soldiers than Russia, but it's still losing the war. Okay, so let's get this straight. The Russian economy is in tatters, which it isn't. The Russians are fighting with shovels, which they aren't. They have to get North Koreans in because there's no Russians left, which they haven't, because Zelensky said that they know there's North Korean troops fighting, but the North Koreans all burn their faces off before they die. He literally said that.
No.
And the
Nobody's
Russians,
gonna do that.
well, obviously, Trump said that the Russians have lost over 1 million people and that the Ukrainians have only lost 700,000 or something. And it's just descending into this ridiculous farce. I just think Russia, I mean, once the Russians, last time I checked the maps, they're not that far away from the east bank of the Dnieper River.
Yeah, they're just about where they want to be, aren't they?
Yeah, and they've essentially, what's left of Ukraine, apart from Odessa and that area, is just a rump state. I mean, there isn't Ukraine. Given what the Russians have taken thus far, Ukraine isn't actually a viable country anymore, which is probably why Zelensky says, we got to have the 4 oblasts back. Whatever. It's not, I mean, you don't just go in there and ask a bear to get out of your bed, despite what Goldilocks might have thought. Yeah. And it's just descending into just this farcical nonsense. And the other thing that happened this week that we didn't really cover, but it's too fucking boring for us anyway, is the stupid British government signing a 100-year pact with the Ukrainians that it's frightening. Actually, living in the UK, being a Brit, the problem that what most people don't realize is that the British government has bought large amounts of Ukrainian debt. British financial institutions have bought large amounts of Ukrainian debt. There's a load of stuff that's been promised, and there's loads of Ukrainian resources that rich people were banking on having, which is why they lent the Ukrainians the money, which are now owned by the Russians, including the largest lithium mine in Europe and all sorts of other things.
Well, they were pretty stupid, weren't they? Really?
Utterly idiotic. And this is what I think has got them so rattled now, because they're losing. Yeah. Which is why the British government is going all out to as long as the war is going on, none of these debts are going to get called. Yeah. And as soon as the war finishes and Ukraine loses, all the people that lent Ukraine the money that was then guaranteed by our idiotic government, those chickens are going to go home to roost. And the country's already in a massively shit state economically, which is just being made worse by the idiots in charge. And we're looking at like the government default having to run to the IMF. If you remember, it's only happened one other time in history where the British government has had to go cap in hand to the IMF. Yeah. But can you imagine that happening on Starmer's watch? Because they're pushing us very close to it.
Yeah. The whole thing's ridiculous. I mean, Rachel Reeves doesn't have a clue. She either doesn't have a clue or she's deliberately allowing the Bank of England to run rampant over economic policy.
I think in her case, she's an arrogant idiot.
Yeah, and the Bank of England have got their own agenda, and they don't give a shit about Britain's economy. They just want to make their own money.
Well, they have to get paid, and the government was probably telling them to buy Ukrainian debt, and they probably bought Ukrainian debt because it was all part of the whole agenda. Yeah, and there's all sorts of it's the same with all of this stuff in Southport. There is the media narrative, which is up here, and then there's kind of what people sort of have a clue of what's actually happening. Yep. And then what's really happening is down in the fucking sewer somewhere. And I think that some of the stuff that I've been reading, that one that I sent you, that I don't necessarily think we should talk about, which connects a bunch of stuff back to the random genocide. I'll actually put the link in chat so that people who are interested can see it. But it's seriously dark shit going all the way back to Tony Blair. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you just, it's mind blowing.
Anyway, honestly, before we get all maudlin and let's end on a high, shall we? Let's wrap it up.
So, go on then.
Well, yeah, I mean, apart from, I thought Egypt bringing in a law allowing the man to have sex with his dead wife was pretty much mind blowing enough to end a show on, but. Yeah.
Well, that's still not particularly positive because
it's not positive,
but it isn't very positive. It's funny.
It's funny though. You've got to give it funny.
I don't know. I mean, just
madness, mate.
It's crazy. I mean, we're only how many weeks have we done? How many shows have we done in 2025?
Well, this is only the third.
Yeah, so no, this is the
fourth, right?
Yeah, so we've had 4 shows in 2025. We're not even at the end of January. We've got another show next week, which will be our last show in January.
Oh yeah, it's going to be. Of course, it's going to be the Burns night next week, isn't it?
January 2025 has been as crazy as probably October through December of 2024, at least.
Yeah, it has,
including the whole US election and all of that nonsense. I mean, it's craziness.
Completely nuts, mate.
But then we're going to be here to laugh at shit. So
yeah. So you know what? If you've enjoyed it, like, share, subscribe, evangelize, tell people. Remember, you can always support us at the little thing down the bottom. It's Sgt Grumpy. But apart from that, I think it's pretty much been great for me. Has it been great for you, Ed?
Yeah, it's been good fun. I enjoyed
it. And it's been great for you.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. my car, wake up in a bar, I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah,
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe.
so I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo.
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe.
So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this